the incidence of obesity amongst adults and worrisomely amongst children has increased dramatically. The numbers for children of tripling over the last 15 years is a particular concern, because the issue amongst the young is once they become obese, the ability to lose weight becomes increasingly difficult. When we know that the incidence of other diseases as a result of obesity, whether it be coronary artery disease or diabetes, is going to start occurring at younger and younger ages. I think the answer is, first of all, awareness, that Canadians need to be aware that this is happening. I think that parents need to be aware that it is happening. I think people need to understand what the healthcare risks involved are and what the implication over a relatively short period of time will be on their children and their grandchildren. It's going to involve a number of partnerships, though, in terms of organizations coming to grips with this. It will involve, for instance, in the educational system, an understanding that physical activity is a very important part of overall health and learning. We know that increased regular exercise actually improves the learning process. So the priorities, the educational priorities in the schools need to be adjusted to acknowledge that. Importantly, though, it also needs to involve families, because indeed the responsibilities cannot be totally offloaded to others within society. And the idea that indeed the average child may spend 4 to 6 hours in front of some type of screen, whether it be a computer or whether it be a video game or whatever, each day, this is a significant impact because there just aren't enough hours in the day to do other things. So parents need to assume responsibility in terms of what are they going to do to encourage their kids to be more active. And part of this is by example. It's not just sending little Johnny outside to play. It's developing activities that indeed will be family activities that will involve regular exercise, whether it be walking with their kids to school or bicycling or other types of physical activity. It also involves other areas within society, government, for instance, municipal governments, the whole issue of developing bike paths and other physical activity-friendly ways of getting around. Bottom line is it's an awareness issue, and it is one that requires a number of sectors within society to come up with creative strategies. I think that industry, to a certain extent, is responding to what they perceive society wishes to some degree. On the other hand, there is a lot that industry can indeed really do. Participating in discussions in relation to the sodium issue, for instance. The idea that industry says that Canadians won't give up the taste of their food and therefore requires more salt in their food than our American colleagues to the south. That, I think, is a fallacious argument. There are ways to indeed reduce salt in the cooking that do make a big difference and yet shouldn't affect taste. So I think industry needs to realize that indeed people are now aware, or increasingly aware, the idea of food labeling, and people are now starting to look at food labels and voting with their feet and saying something has 1,600 milligrams of sodium for a sandwich. I'm not going to eat that one. Well, that's going to sit on the shelf and go stale. So they're going to get the message. On the other hand, I think that industry, in thinking about this, can be proactive partners in change, because indeed industry is always interested in market share, and indeed those companies that indeed take the leadership role in this, particularly with society wishing it or part of the consumers, I think can be to economic benefit. I think the reality is it must be a partnership between industry understanding what the consumer wants, but importantly what is health for the industry. or for Canadians. The industry is interested in selling its product. I think that the value proposition, certainly in the United States, has been that volume equals value. So portion size has got larger, where the prices remain the same, so therefore that is greater value in the consumer's mind. There needs to be a paradigm shift that would suggest that value relates to healthcare value that doesn't necessarily relate to volume. And I think from the supplier's point of view, indeed, there's no particular reason that if they thought they were going to sell as much product with smaller portion sizes and keep the same profit margins, that they wouldn't do it. Government needs to play a greater role in not necessarily in regulating, but setting standards in terms of what can go into foods, because I think that that's another important area. First of all, I think it's a question of public information and public awareness. There are a number of things that we are doing to get information out. Our food labeling program, Health Check, is an example of that. We are working, for instance, within the schools now with multiple partners on this Spark for Healthy Children program, which is looking at physical activity and healthy eating. We are working with a number of partners, including industry, to make them aware of what the standards are and understanding what their business issues are, and really trying to work in partnership. So we're trying to work with a number of other organizations, whether it be government or private industry or individuals, to really increase awareness, come up with strategies, and get people moving. Keep busy, and I bicycle. I like to bike, and I ski in the wintertime. So I bicycle every day. I think that it's important that people really understand that we've made significant progress, but there are significant challenges as we go forward, largely as a result of lifestyle choice, and we need to help people make healthier lifestyle choices.